Alright, apparently I'm live. I cannot see that because I've got my phone set up behind me. So I'm going to use my computer to check and zoom it out of the way. Oh, there I am. I can't actually click on it. Oh, there we go. Alright, I am live. If I click on it, I will probably get, oh no, I won't get feedback. Let's see here. If I turn, I'm going to try something. Okay, let's move this keyboard. Let's see if I can zoom in a little closer. Open my can of pop, and then I'm going to start sculpting. I'm going to show you guys this little skull I'm working on right now. Really tiny. This is a 1/40th scale Allosaurus that I'm working on. I'm going to see if it'll zoom in here. Problem is I can't really tell. Anyway, there we go. This here's the body. I don't know if you guys can all see that. So I figured I'd just do a little sculpting here for a few minutes live, and if anyone wants to ask me any questions about how I do it or anything like that, feel free. I have it up on the screen, so I should be able to see any comments. So we'll give it a shot here. Alright. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually trying to sculpt in a different way with this guy. I'm trying to actually make it so that this part is completed, and then sculpt the legs separately, almost the way you would sculpt an action figure. So it's kind of something that I've never done before. Usually I make the whole armature with the legs and everything and attach it that way. So, but this time I decided that I'm going to do something different and sculpt the body and the neck. I'll actually attach the head as well, probably just the upper part of the head. And then, because if I'm going to cast it, I'll need the lower jaw off of there. So, and then I'll sculpt the legs. Now I've already made the legs. You can see this little wire here. So this is the base for the legs. I just wanted to test them out, see if they stood on their own, because I want to get this guy to balance. So that's the main thing with that. And you probably notice there's some gray and some of this flesh color. So the reason why I'm doing that is because the gray is strong. So I've got tin foil inside of here. So outside of the tin foil, the guy like super strong. So that's why I'm going about it that way. But underneath here is there's already some gray colored clay, and I find that a couple layers of gray clay don't really stick well to each other, but this flesh colored super sculpting actually sticks really well. So that's why I stick it on these thin areas. It actually sticks quite well compared to the gray. I find the other stuff sometimes doesn't stick as well. Anyway, I'll show you kind of what I'm using here. I'll open up my little drawer and show you. So so I've got a couple kinds here. I'm going to pull them all out and quickly show you. Here I got lots of different clay. Okay, so the first clay that I'm using is the original Super Sculpey. It's this fleshy colored Sculpey. And it's really nice. It's nice and creamy, and it picks up detail really well. But it's not quite as strong. So what I do for when I want stuff that's strong, I use this Super Sculpey Firm. But the problem with this is it's very hard to work. Actually, what I found is the best thing to do is to mix this with this one 50-50, and it turns out still gray, obviously, but it kind of has the perfect intermediate mix of the two. So it actually works really well for both strength and for sculpting the detail. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, where I'm at here with this guy is, let's see, I'll hold him up like this so you can see. So he's a little narrow in the tail still. He needs probably, like, that's probably pretty close. And one of the ways you can tell is using these little skeletals. I'll see if I can hold it up for you. So as you can see with this one, it has every dimension on it. Now that this Allosaurus is actually just a hair bigger, so I know I can up it a little bit, but you can go, I'll do this with two hands so you can see what I'm doing. Just make sure that it's roughly right there. You can put it on, you can see, you know, test it out, and there we go. So that's how you know the right thickness. One of the biggest things that I would say to anybody who's trying to get into sculpting, and I've actually had quite a few people ask me in the last few days about it, but references, always using calipers and measuring. If you're not always measuring, what will happen is you'll get quite a ways into the sculpt, and then when you do go to measure, you'll find out that now it's messed up, it's out of place. So that's why you want to make sure that you're always measuring it, at least, you know, fairly regularly. You don't want to mess that up. So I'm just gonna check here. It looks like I got comments, so, but I can't really see. Oh, there we go. Now I got some comments. There we go. All right, good. Yeah, they. So someone asked if they made colored clay. Yes, they do. They actually have colored versions of many, not actually Super Sculpey itself, but they have colored versions of Sculpey 3, Primo Sculpey, and you can mix those in if you want. Like, I could actually go buy like a bright red or blue Sculpey 3 if I really wanted to and mix it in, and there'd be nothing wrong with that, really. That's okay to do. So if you're interested in sculpting other things, then by all means. And you can get this kind of clay from Michael's, Curry's art store. Now I'm listing Canadian stores because I'm in Canada, so that's the only ones that I know. So, but in the United States, I believe Hobby Lobby is a big seller, and then there's also Michael's in the States. I'm not sure about other art stores down there. I actually want to take a trip to the States at some point and check it out and see, because I imagine there's quite the selection. So, oh, there we go. I see. Oh, there's where the comments are. All right. They're finally popping up properly here. Okay, good. I see. Oh, someone's asking if I'm going to make this Allosaurus into a kit. Possibly. I have some plans when it comes to this 1/40th. I'm trying to see if I can sculpt this in this size, because I usually sculpt obviously larger things because I'm a big guy, I got big hands, so I try to stick to sculpting things in a 20th or a 15th scale because it's just a lot easier, right? But I'm trying to see if I can do the whole tiny 1/40th scale, and plus I have a lot of Batat, Carnegie dinosaurs that are in in a 1/40th scale, and it'd be nice to be able to add to those, and you know, maybe do something along the lines of hooking up with a company to do a line of these dinosaurs at some point. You know, it'd be nice to see a company go back and do the 1/40th scale again. You know, I know that the Batat Museum of Science, they were probably the only one that stuck with 1/40th the whole time, which is an awesome deal. It's so nice to have, you know, 20 or 30 dinosaurs, and every one of them is perfectly to scale. So I'm glad they never compromised on that, even when they came back and did the Target exclusive Terra dinosaurs, which, by the way, are now at the Hudson Bay Company in Canada if you're looking for them. So I was pretty stoked to hear that news. I'm just hoping that they continue the line. So but yeah, so maybe something like that, submitting it to Batat, seeing if they want to carry on Dan LaRusso's legacy and continue the line, you know, keep it going. That'd be one thing. If not, well, yes, then I will make sure that this Allosaurus is available, you know, one way or another, whether it's through a company or whether it's something that I do myself. As far as finding these little skeletal drawings, Google is obviously the easiest place. Like for this one, I just quickly typed in Allosaurus skeleton, and a couple of them popped up. I know right away when I look at them who's done them. So this would be Gregory S. Paul. Many of you know him from the famous book Predatory Dinosaurs of the World, and the newer book The Princeton Field Guide to Dinosaurs, which is a must-have if you're going to sculpt dinosaurs, for sure. You know, if you're going to get into this, you want that, because, you know, you've got a ton of skeletons, and he's known for doing these skeletals for, you know, probably, well, as long as I can remember. And then we've got this one down here, and this would be Scott Hartman. And you can go to skeletaldrawings.com, and you can find a lot of his stuff, which he's also well known and an amazing paleo artist. So you could search that way, or like I said, just type in whatever dinosaur and then type the word skeleton. You'll find them all over the place. There's tons of them. And or you can, like I said, you can get the book, and you can do it the old school way. So, you know, you put the book on a photocopier, you photocopy it, and blow it up to whatever size you want, which takes a little bit of math, but it's not too hard. I actually use a program on, or sorry, not a program, but an app on my Android phone called ScaleMeet. And I think there's another one called Scale Calculator you can get now, but they will do the math for you pretty much. You just type in what the life-size animal would be, what life size or full size of anything would be, and when you do that, and then you tell it what scale you'd like, and it will do all the work for you. So then you know pretty much, okay, it's going to be 8 inches long or 9 inches long. Like I think for this guy, I asked some people about Allosaurus. Some people went all the way up to 40, 35 feet. So I made him about 33 feet, just to kind of be in the safe range. So that's about 9.5 inches, I believe, roughly. I'll have to go back and check now, because it was a few days ago. But basically, that's what you do, and then you print it out, and you go from there. So, and yes, you're right. They are a little bit easier to store in shelves. I have some of the larger ones, and my space is getting filled pretty quick. I've got like quite a few shelves, and all the ones that have the larger scale dinosaurs are pretty much filled already, and I've got a bunch still in boxes that I need to put together. And then obviously I've just finished 3 new sculptures, so once they're molded and casted and ready to go on the shelf, wow. So I'm constantly having to make or build newer shelves. So yes, you're right, the 140ths are definitely a little bit easier. And you're right about Scott Hartman's drawings. Yes, they're very easy to understand. He's a very nice guy. He's on Facebook. I've talked to him a few times, and yeah, he's a great guy. You know, very helpful. And yes, that website is great, because he's got a little like an anatomy 101. I think it's about 5 or 6 pages right on the website that kind of explains how to read the bones, what the names of the bones are, how to apply muscles. So yeah, definitely great. I actually was bugging him a couple years back about writing a book, because I'm a little old school, so I always enjoy having a nice book. So hopefully he does that at some point. That would be great. So anyway, what I'm doing right now, I'll just kind of go back to what I'm working on here. So I want to get this skull done. That's pretty much the main thing, because I've got this body set up here. So we want to get the skull, get it done just perfect. One sculptor named Shane Folks, who's pretty well known, probably one of the best in the model kit business, was explaining to me about if you want to make the head on your dinosaur look more accurate, then you should sculpt the skull first. And Sean Cooper, who's I think he owns a company called Paleocraft, he also does that. He sculpts the skulls first, and then obviously then puts the glass eyes and sculpts the head, and wow, what a difference. They look so amazing. And then Sean Cooper has also sculpted some things for Dan's Dinosaurs as well, so you guys might know him from that. I think he's got a new one coming, or has, if my memory serves me correctly. So now I gotta check, because I saw another comment about YouTube, and I gotta look.
Facebook notification.
Yes, I actually might upload this to YouTube. I'm not sure how that's going to work, because I don't know what Facebook does with this video. I guess I could download it off Facebook and then upload it on YouTube, which actually, you know what, that's a great idea. I will try that, because I try to put new stuff on my YouTube channel as much as possible. I kind of been slacking over Christmas time, and then I just put the review of the Sculpting Allosaurus up. So that's the only video I've done in 2017, so I would like to get back to some more of the how-to videos now. And yes, you're right, I do basically build bone, muscle, skin. That's basically it. And that's the best way, because again, you want to keep that anatomy accurate, right? If you're not studying the bones, studying the muscles, it's going to end up inaccurate. So, you know, and always checking as you go along, measuring, laying it down over. You can see, I hope my phone's going to show this part here, but you want to lay it down over, check it out, you know, lay down your other piece, check it out. Now this specimen's head is a little bit longer, so it's not going to be perfectly accurate. So, but at least you get the dimensions. You know, I mean, you're not always going to get perfect references, but you want to get as much references as you can to follow through to get it as accurate as possible. So that's basically where you go with that. You know, you'll never, with dinosaurs, obviously, you never know. You could sculpt the most accurate Spinosaurus in 2013, and then it's obsolete in 2014, as a lot of people found out. You know, with the beautiful Carnegie Spinosaurus that I'm sure most people are familiar with, and then a year later, and all this new information comes out about an aquatic Spinosaur with the short back legs. Although there is some debate about that, as I've noticed. I haven't really read much lately, but there are some people that are debating whether that's true or not. Oh, there we go. So, alright. Just trying to form out a little bit more of the skull. I find that another good thing to do with stuff like this is to bake it multiple times when you're doing these small things. So I'll sculpt, you know, I'll probably actually end this video in the next 5-10 minutes, and then I will bake the skull where it's at now. Sorry, just doing this fine little piece. Sometimes these can get finicky and come back off, so I gotta really be careful here. I'm gonna have to grind down this part in the middle to make the little hornlets and stuff on the top of the head. But anyway, one good thing to have is one of those little toaster ovens or convection ovens. I have a really small one kind of behind me here. I'd tilt the camera and show you, but I'm a little bit nervous to do so. I've just got my phone sitting up in a box. It's the Galaxy S7 Edge, actually, which seems to be filming a nice clear video. But yeah, I would definitely get yourself a little toaster oven in your workspace, because right now I can take this skull, just turn it around, pop it in the toaster oven, hit the timer on my phone for 30 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever. I usually overcook them a little bit just to make sure, and then I'll work on something else. Like I actually have, I'll show you quickly, a little sneak peek. So this is my Shunosaurus, much larger than much larger than the little Allosaurus here. This is like an 18th scale. It actually was meant to be 15th scale, but it's a little smaller, which is fine. You can use it as either or. But so I sculpted this guy. This is my original sculpture. I molded it myself. I cast it myself, and this is a cast that's put together, and I'm now just painting it. So this is just like the base coat. I'm going to add like 5 or 6 more colors with that like modeling effect, and then I'm going to go over and glaze it. Then I'm going to add more of the spots and stuff. He's going to be like similar to Dinosaur Evolution, the Shunosaurus that was eating the mushrooms. So I've got to finish painting that. Now my beautiful Sotar 2020 by Badger airbrush is in getting fixed by them, so it'll be a little bit before he's done. So I got a couple more questions, so I will just check for, I'm not sure. That's fine. Okay, teeth. Yes, teeth are a pain in the butt. I let's just say that they are a huge pain in the butt. And actually, I've been asking this question to myself. No,
Message from the dark side there is.
sorry about that. My phone is talking to me like Yoda, apparently. I'll try and hold this up and explain this to you so that you can see how small this is. To put teeth on this is going to be, well, frustrating to say the least. So, but hey, when you look at the little T-Rex, well, not so little, but you know, the T-Rex from Safari and Batat and stuff, they sculpt teeth, and I don't know how they do it. So I'm going to try and sculpt teeth on this. Now with the bigger stuff, like I've got, let me just see if I can quickly find it while I'm still here and show you the teeth. I'm not sure. No, that's my Camptosaur. I have a Yang Tyrannosaurus that I just sculpted. So what I did with him is I kind of roll out clay here. I'll do it quickly and show you a rough, kind of a rough idea. So
Message from the dark side there is.
Apparently my phone's really going off. Anyway, so you just kind of roll it out a little bit. That's good to add a little humor in here. Kind of flatten it a little bit out, flatten it out a little bit. The T-Rex teeth would be much bigger. Kind of angle it a little bit, and then you take your knife, cut it off, and there you go. You got something that's like a tooth right there. And then what I do is I make a crap load of them and I bake them, and then I just kind of shove them into the soft clay of the skull. You can see here I have a whole bunch of them left. So there's like some teeth, and then I just insert them in, and then obviously you have to smooth the clay around and stuff like that to get it looking accurate. You'll have to mess around with it a bit. You might have to bulk the teeth out a little bit as well. So, but yes, teeth are hard. They are the biggest pain in the butt. So, but you learn. Like with every sculpture, I find the teeth are a little bit easier to do. So I saw somebody was sculpting a T-Rex the other day. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a Facebook page, Mountain Lou's Sculpture. He's I think he's from Thailand. He's awesome sculptor, and he's doing some cool stuff right now with a T-Rex and a Triceratops. Anyway, he actually put like little metal pins in a little metal wire in the teeth, and then he actually put clay over top and sculpted the teeth, which I thought was amazing, and I might just give that a try myself at some point. So yes, teeth are very hard to do. So, but I will make a video on YouTube about making teeth at some point in the future when I try a couple more things and see. Actually, I'm going to get into sculpting.
Message from the dark side there is.
Holy jumping. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to start sculpting some busts and learning how to make teeth that way as well on some larger things, and then kind of working my way down. So I've got a project coming up. I'm going to film it on well, probably Facebook Live and YouTube, hopefully, of sculpting a Ceratosaurus, like a 3rd scale Ceratosaurus bust. And so that's going to be something interesting. I've got a whole new type of clay that I've never used before, and I've actually got 3rd scale.
It's me, honey.
Oh boy, that's my wife. I think they're doing it on purpose. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to do a sculpt of a 3rd scale Ceratosaurus. Actually, I'll show you the skull quickly. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to try something here at the same time. There we go. No, let me know if I still have sound. Anyway, this here is an awesome Ceratosaurus skull. I got it off eBay like a couple years ago. Yeah, I know, my phone is silly. So anyway, what I'm going to do is get some nice glass eyes for this, and I'm going to actually sculpt with monster clay and do a nice bust, kind of fill out the teeth a little bit more. They're a little bit too thin. So clean it up, but anyway, that's another project I'm going to work on soon, so that should be cool. And hey, that's a good idea. You should. I was checking out your channel, by the way, there, buddy, and it's pretty good. So yeah, I'll be able to cast it, because I'm not like, if I cast that skull, like, I don't know who sculpted it or whatever. I just got it off eBay, but that would be still recasting, even though I have no idea, and I hope it's not a recast of somebody else's. But when you're actually sculpting over top of it, that's a whole different ball game, you know. So I know a lot of people have sold kits where they've sculpted over top. I know there's an article in Prehistoric Times in which a guy sculpted, I think he used the old 1/20th scale T-Rex and sculpted over top of that and made a beautiful kit. It's still for sale today. You see it on eBay all the time. I think Shane used a skeleton underneath his Allosaurus. So yeah, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to use that as a reference, really, underneath, and go from there. So I've got the skull here bulked out about as much as I want it for now. So I'm going to leave that. This here is the terrible looking lower jaw. So what I want to do is I actually want to clean it up a little bit, so get better lines, get it straighter, and then I'll add some more clay. But it's just easier to add clay to something that's been cleaned up. So I'm going to just sand it off a little bit. Probably sand it down the sides a little bit too, get her nice and clean, and then I'll add one small layer of clay. And then I'm going to throw these I'm going to throw these in the oven, and then I'll be done this video. And yes, I will try and download it onto my computer and then re-upload it to the YouTube channel. So anybody that wants to go back and check it out, or anyone else, can certainly do that. And I'll try and make videos semi-regularly on YouTube and Facebook Live. I'd like to find a way actually to broadcast live on both Facebook Live and YouTube. I don't know how I would do that. I'd probably need 2 of everything to do that with, so I will try to figure it out at some point, and then and do that. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. So if anyone has more questions, you can feel free to message me, and go to my page, my Facebook page, Dinosaur Dungeon, and like it. You can ask me questions there, or send me messages on there. And I'm going to probably eventually switch and do my live videos from that Facebook page. Actually, I'll still share them on mine so people can find them easier. But anyway, to all those who watched, thank you, and I'll come back soon and film some more stuff.